Hello, my lovelies. It's Susanna, and today I want to show you how to solve this problem. What is the total area of the three squares? They tell us that we have three squares here, a small one, a big one, and a tiny one here. We get the length of this part here, the length of this part, and the length of this one here. And to be able to find the total area of the three squares, we need to find the areas of the individual squares and then add them at the end. So let's start with this square here. For this, we need the length of this side here. I call it A, and then we have A here as well because it's a square. To find the area of the big square, I need the length of this side here, I call it B, and the length of the side of the tiny square, I call it C. So I have A, B, and C as variables, which is not great. It would be better if we can find a connection between the variables so that we maybe not have three, but only one of them would be better. So let's try and find a connection between A and B. We have A here, so this is the length of our A. Can we write this now in terms of B? Yes, we can, because the entire side here is B, but we don't need all of that. So from our B, we just subtract the 2 to get the length of this part here. So B minus the 2 is this part here, so we don't need our A anymore. We found an expression in terms of B. So we have this length here in terms of B, we have this length here in terms of B for our big square, and now let's try the same with our tiny square. So I want to find an expression for this part here in terms of B as well, so that I don't need C. And I can do that because my B is the entire side and I just have to subtract the 6. So B minus 6 is my part here, so I don't need the C anymore. Okay, so I have the lengths of all of the sides of my squares in terms of B. I used this information, I used this information, but we haven't used this information yet. But we can do that. So they tell us that the entire side here is of length 22. So this part here plus this part here plus this part equals 22. How long is this part? It's B minus 2 from our first square. This part here is of length B from our big square, and this length here is B minus 6 from our tiny square. And if I add these now, I get a result of 22. So if I take my B minus 2 and add it to my B, and add this to this length, to B minus 6, I get 22 in total. And this is an equation we can solve for our B. We have B plus B plus B. So we have 3B here, then negative 2 minus 6 equals negative 8, and on the other side we have the 22. To solve for B, we get rid of the negative 8 here, so we add 8 on both sides of the equation. So we have our 3B here. This cancels out. On the other side, we have 22 plus 8 equals 30. So to solve for B, we divide both sides of the equation by the 3 so that this cancels out. We have our B, and 30 over 3 equals 10. We have the length of our B. We know that B equals 10, so we can replace this here. 10 minus 2 equals 8 then. 10 minus 6 equals 4 then. We have the lengths of the sides of our squares, so let's calculate the total area of all the three squares. The area of our first square is 8 times 8, so 64. Plus the area of our big square, 10 times 10 equals 100, plus the area of our tiny square, 4 times 4 equals 16. If we add this, 64 plus 16 maybe first equals 80 plus the 100 equals 180 in total. I'm curious how you solve this problem, so please let me know in the comments. I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Take care!